Kia ora.
Talofa.
We are Kailah and Kenape from
Navigating Worlds.
We've spent over 10 years building separate empires. I was 10 years in national government doing HR.
And I was 10 years deep on national and international stages across the world.
Right? We were independent bosses on paper, working in silos. However, today we're talking about how we move from me to we. Okay. It's all about, today we're going to share things about the ego death that was required for us to step away from working in silos in order for us to come together in partnership.
Yes, it took a lot of ego deaths, a lot of learnings, a lot of different new things that we had to experience, but we needed to experience to get to where we are today, right now.
Yeah. Before we get started though, Kenape, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes, kia ora koutou katoa, ko Kenape taku ingoa no Ngāti hā mo ahau, ko taku mahi tēnei. He noho ana ahau ki porirua, ko Kailah taku kai pō, ko tahi tāmaua tamahine, ko te kane te tau o taku ate, nō reira, tēnā koutou, tēnā tātou katoa.
Kia ora.
Kia ora. E momo lava o nā si levi I ngā male whawhetai le tātou atua, a wāua tātou whisila whai le langi e mamāmala sui fumanuia, o lo ingoa o Kenape sau pese, o te saumanu o fusi sā fotu la whai male pā, whawhetai lava me avano.
Oh, kia ora.
Kia ora.
Tēnā rā tātou katoa, o lo ingoa o Kailah sau pese, o te saumanu o solo masati toa, he uri a hau no Ngāti whātua, Ngāti kahu, ko Kailah tōku ingoa. Ai, Kenape has already spoken the rest about our family. So kia ora. I'm really excited. I'm really excited to be here with you, love. I know this has taken us a long time to even get here and share this space together. I remember when we were living in the far north last year, and I would practice. I would get these visions and downloads, like we need to share some of this messaging. I have this big purpose in life. And Kenape would actually coach me on how to speak my truth, speak to the camera. And it would take hours before I could even sit there and just say something to the camera. Do you remember that?
I do, and I think what's really cool about that is there's a reason we were paired together. We spoke about this just before we filmed this.
Yeah.
There's a reason we were put together, and we've been together for a long time, and we've been able to develop our different set of skills. And I think the most cool thing about now is we get to put our skills that we've picked up along the way together, and really work together and grind things out and focus on each other. And yeah, it was tough. It was really tough for my wife to sit in front of the camera and to speak and to coordinate, or something so new for her, not so new for myself. And so it was nice to be able to finally help my wife out. She helps me all the time, and so it was nice to be able to give back to her, to you.
Thanks, love. Yes. We've done a lot of healing. We've come a long way. For this podcast, I know that we want to talk things about culture, navigating being Māori and Samoan, navigating being trilingual, navigating well-being, hauora, mental health. We're running a business together now. We're still building our family together. We are living with our family as well. So yeah, we are navigating through so much. And if there's anything that we wanted to share today, what do we want to talk about today?
I guess, well, the name of our episode is The Reset, and the end of Independent. And I guess maybe I think talking a little bit more about what that independent was, what were you doing, what was I doing, and then how we've managed to marry that up together and really kill off the independent.
That's true. We were so independent. We were definitely working in our own lanes, although being still together. It's quite interesting when I think about it now, because we just don't work like that anymore. Like everything, we really tag team together, from the housework, from co-parenting, everything. So it's like, when I think back, I definitely was heavily in my masculine. We were living a totally different life. I was climbing the corporate ladder within HR and government, and I was heavily in my masculine energy. I was the provider. I was the one doing all the things at home. I was the one holding the fort at home, ensuring that all the bills were paid, everything basically. And I never want to go back there again. At the time, looking after my siblings, our siblings, they had come down to live with us. We had put them through college, and we were only in our 20s. So if we think about it, we're now in our mid-30s. We're talking about the last 10 years. We were early in our 20s, early in our career. I spent pretty much my 20s. I had moved back from Melbourne from around 23, 24. And then when I came back to Wellington, that's when my career started in HR at the Ministry for Pacific Peoples. I was a real newbie. I didn't know what HR was or the government sector. I had no idea about the public service.
Yeah. Honestly, but it's cool. I always bring this up to you is in your first week of mahi, you were invited by the big boss. The big boss is out for some sort of dinner or get together or something along those lines.
Oh.
Yeah, remember? It was like that very first week that you started.
Yes.
And to me, that was like, wow, that's pretty cool. Like, you just started a new role. And me, I guess, not to cut into your story, but me back in those days, I was really about the hierarchical, like, the boss at the top and everyone else at the bottom. So that kind of buzzed me up. And that was the way that I was raised in church and things like that. So for you to be all mushy with, not mushy, but to be able to naturally progress in that way so fast, and I guess get into the space where you were like in those spaces with the top bosses of places and within the week. Sorry to cut your story. That was
okay.
very, very cool.
That's okay. No, thank you for sharing that. Because when I think back, I remember thinking, I didn't care about people in their roles. I think I remember that because I would invite you, like, come, I'm gonna, we're gonna have dinner with the CE and the DCEs and and I was an HR coordinator. I remember, very young, very naive. I was 23, 24, and so Kenape already had this lens of hierarchical, the ladder, and I had this lens of, it's just a job, it's just a job. These are just people. They've invited us out, like, don't take it so seriously, kind of thing. And I've got a big smile on my face because that was the first week, and I remember the CE, she invited me out, and we were talking about, because I had negotiated my salary with her. I was so ballsy. Someone who had no HR experience as an HR coordinator. I remember the salary was like, something really like, I think it was like 39K or 40K, I think, back then.
Really?
It was like really little.
Damn.
Like,
yeah, okay.
but I, with no experience, managed to negotiate it to like 45K. And on top of that, I also negotiated a 6-month review for an extra pay increase. And I remember the CE was like, who do you think you are? No, she never said that to me. She never said that to me. But yeah, basically, like, with your no experience and all those things, and you're out here trying to like push yourself forward. But I did.
That's very cool.
I did. Because I knew that the more I got paid, the more I was able to support not only you and I, but my siblings. And that was what was at the back of my mind, More money, more things you can do.
Yeah, that's so cool. So that was, like you said, that was one of your first roles there. That
was. And I guess that's what started it off, because when I had come back from Melbourne, Kenape and I had got married. We then he was still in Tomorrow People, and then I started my career in Wellington, and it just happened to be that you were popping off at that time, so it meant a lot of gigs, a lot of time away, and I was home. I was at home just doing my do. Yeah, and I guess, but because we had done long distance, I was used to not being together all the time.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And I think that really helped too, because had I probably been here and you were to pop off and always be around, I'd probably be like, nah, you go and I'm out.
Oh boy, yeah, fair enough.
Yeah. But at the same time, because I've always known you to love music, you've always loved music, that's always been your passion, that's how you serenaded me in the first place.
Right.
I always knew that it was something that I never wanted to take away from you.
Well, I appreciate that, and I appreciate your kōrero. Like, you've always been one to think about others before you think about yourself, and putting yourself last. And so, and I guess, like, if we come back to the beginning of my musical journey, like where it all started for me in church, I guess, and like you said, I love music, and that's how I would speak to Kailah back in the days. Was I would write her. It's so funny, but I'll share this. I used to write love notes, love notes to Kailah. I would tell her friends to give her these notes that I had written, and they were. I remember these. There were little sayings that I used to write and give to her. There would be things like, "There is a dime in a dozen. Then there is one in a million. Then there is you once in a lifetime." Like these kinds of and I remember these beautiful things, and I'll be honest, my musical career took off within myself when I met Kailah. Like, I started becoming just this one with music, and I would write these things for Kailah. Like, I wrote my first song when I was 14 at Rongotai College, and just from there, it just kind of progressed naturally, where when I finished school, I joined Tomorrow People, and then it just went up and up and up. And I guess, like Kailah was saying, TP was popping off, and I didn't know that TP was going to pop off the way that it did. Like, I was just happy that I was back doing music. And I didn't anticipate that Tomorrow People was going to skyrocket, and that I would be a part of it doing music. And so I guess I'm grateful that way back in the days, that's where my love for music really took off, was when I met you. And then fast forward, I guess, a little bit to where we were, looking after our whānau, trying our best. You were doing your thing. Like, I guess, like the theme of this episode, you were heavily into what you were doing at the time.
Yeah.
And I was heavily into what I was doing at the time. And so I guess it's just nice to marry that all back up together finally.
Finally, definitely.
And to be able to use our skills that we've picked up along the way for each other, for one another, for our business, for our families. And it feels really nice. And here we are.
Here we are. I'm so grateful that we're here together, finally. You know, there were,
tough times. Is that what you're gonna say?
No, I'm just, obviously, like, no relationship is perfect, right? There is no such thing as a perfect relationship. But when I do think about role models of partnership, you know, I'm thinking about partnership. I'm thinking about my upbringing. My parents were separated, you know, so I didn't have the ideal family dynamic that everyone would normally have or live in. But I did have a nana and papa that showed a united marriage front, you know, like my mum and dad weren't married, but I would always look at the marriage photo of my nana and papa growing up. So it's, when I think about what made me so keen to get married, but it was seeing my nana and papa's wedding photo, it was seeing I guess their partnership and remembering that from a young age. But then also all my aunties and uncles, you know, they are in long-term partnerships and seeing how they would work together. But I think it's really important to bring up as well, because it is tough navigating from being independent as me to we, I found personally, and I'm not gonna lie, I still find it tricky to navigate today. Because I've had this whole old life of being in the masculine energy, of being in the system, of being the provider, the breadwinner, and and learning to let that go and let Kenape actually stand in that spot for me was really hard. You know, it's a lot of letting go of control, it's a lot of trust as well, because you know for yourself the expectations that you have for yourself, what you can get for yourself, all these things. And so to let that go in a way, it's for another person to be able to care for you, to care for me, I found it really hard. And just for so many different reasons. Being the eldest, I am the carer, I am the nurturer, all those things, you know, I've had to heal and let you come in and actually, you know, provide for me, love on me, support me. It hasn't been overnight. We've been together all up for over 20 years. And we're just here now, you know?
Ain't that crazy though?
Right.
Like,
we've been together longer. Like more than, yeah.
And I think there's beauty in that. Like, we've really been able to grow up with one another, you know? Like,
yeah, definitely.
From little, you know, I'm not even going to say how old he was, but just like you said, we're finally here.
Yeah.
And I'm grateful for that we made it back together, on the same page and working together. And it's not always easy. Like, before we shot this, my wife was having a meltdown.
Just sharing out my crashing moment.
But it's important that I guess we go through what we need to be able to come into a space and place where we can talk, because I guess I would rather you melt down there, and then so we are able to talk freely and not feel burdened by like, I'm not feeling so good.
Yeah.
And I guess that's the big push of us now, is like, we don't want to be doing things when we're not feeling when we're not okay within ourselves, because who are we to tell anybody else what to do when we're not okay within ourselves?
That part.
And so I guess that was the lesson. And the beautiful thing that I took from that is my wife is only human, you know, and her, like I said before, while we were paired together, as your strengths, my weaknesses, and vice versa, you know. And
definitely.
Yeah, and like you said before we started filming, that it took a lot for you to have the courage to even come here and speak. And so yeah, just going right back to just utilizing our strengths for each other. It's really, really nice.
If we were to ask how did we handle that meltdown? Should we share a bit about that? We were on real having a mini crash, because like Kenape said earlier in this, he is used to this environment. He is used to being in front of the camera. He really loves it. He really loves it.
I ain't even gonna lie.
He is used to that.
Oh, come on. Like,
I am used to being in the background.
Yes.
And that comes with, I guess, culture. You know, we start off with the tea towel, you know, at the marae.
It's funny you said, and I'm sorry to butt in, but like, it's almost like HR is behind the scenes.
Well, that was my next point.
Oh, sorry, carry on.
Yeah, so HR exactly is in the background. And on top of that, we're going up into HR, strategic HR, and you become less and less hands-on. Like, so the higher up you go in a corporate ladder sense, the less hands-on you get onto the delivery of something. And so I got used to being in that kind of environment or that space, just like Kenape is used to being in the space of, here's your script and just perform and then you're done. Whereas now because we're doing everything ourselves, we don't have a team, we don't have the luxury of these different things that others may have at the moment, but we do have each other. And so it does mean transferring our natural skills in other areas that we haven't done in a long time, you know. So it's not like we don't know how to coordinate, or we don't know how to administrate or set up, you know, the cameras and so forth. We just got used to having other people doing it for us.
100%.
And so
100%.
for us to do even this, Kenape would be sitting here and he's like, oh, and I'm like, no, you get up and you put that camera tripod up, you know, like who's going to do that for you? Like, didn't you be looking over here? But it is that, it's learning to just work together more, you know, for the outcome, for the vision. And I'm proud of us because we are on the same waka, we are paddling towards the same vision. No. So being behind the scenes to moving to the front, it did bring up a lot of angst and feelings that I didn't know was there. And I remember, you know, I was crying to Kenape in the cafe as we're having a pre-hui before starting this, and I'm crying to him like, oh my gosh, I'm a Māori Samoan woman. We get so much flack, just that in itself. We don't get the same recognition, the same respect, same acknowledgement, you know, first off hand. Yeah, like if I was to say something and then Kenape was to say the exact same thing, somehow, because he said it has more weight or something, you know? And a woman, like, God forbid, a Samoan Māori woman be in the spotlight, you know? So all these things were coming up. And at the same time, I was saying to Kenape, and it's fear, it's my ego, it's an ego death right now, because I know that I love this stuff. I love speaking truth, I love sharing rongoa, I love sharing our story. It is a big part of my purpose, my life purpose. And so there's a lot of things I need to get over myself to get to this point. And I remember saying to Kenape, because we are partners, we do share a lot of energy and he does feel for me. And so when I'm upset, it does naturally make Kenape upset. But in that moment, I had to remind him, this is not for you to absorb or be upset, love. This is a space for me to share because I need to share this. You have been formed under this pressure. Like, you are used to this. Like, we're about to record a podcast and Kenape's so excited, and I'm sitting there like, I'm about to have a panic attack, you know? And I said to Kenape, like, right now, you need to look at me as one of your students that you always teach with music on how to be confident, how to stand in themselves, and everything's gonna be okay. And the fact that I said that to him just changed his whole like worldview for Karo towards me, and he just leaned in with so much deep love and compassion towards me because he could get it. Whereas normally he would lean in as a protective husband and a protective partner, and he would try and take that stress away from me. But that's not what I was asking. I just needed the space to share, be vulnerable, and then it's done. Like, I'm pretty good at getting over myself. But having someone to share vulnerable whakaaro with, because I don't have many spaces or people, places, if any, where I can be soft, where I can be vulnerable, where I can actually have a meltdown, because so many people rely on me to be the strong one, to be the po, and to hold space for them. So yeah, that was a bit of our meltdown.
Wow, bit of a spiel. So can you just talk a little bit about what you did to come back to yourself?
Yes. So after Kenape held my hand, reassured me I was going to be okay, and he totally understands that this is different for me to come out. I said, right, well, I need to go to the moana. And thankfully, we are here in our whare, in Te Whare Hihiri at the moment, recording this. The moana is directly across the road. And we just walked straight there, and I did beautiful taku. I did some beautiful positive self-affirmations. But I just really let Hine Moana hold me, and I just I held myself at that moment too, realizing that these are just growing pains. New levels, new devils, you know, from me to we. It's uncomfortable at first.
No. Me-we. Sorry.
Yeah, so it was a good puri at the moana.
What is puria?
Purea is a cleansing. It's a cleansing ritual into our Māori where we go and we cleanse ourselves, we cleanse our spirit, mind and body to ensure that we are aligned and rejuvenated, refreshed.
I love that. And I love everything that you've said, Mo. And I guess being around the water for us has been really, really a big part of our coming back together has been linked by being around the water. And I guess just briefly, us living in the far north, we were always surrounded by the water. And us coming back together we were united again by the water in Taupo Bay. And we went there and it was the water, and I felt like that it took us a little while to come, obviously, to get to where we are today, but our healing has always been in and around the water. And so the water and the moana has always played a big part and role in our lives, whether we knew it or not growing up. But most definitely in the last sort of 2.5 years, the water's definitely been a beautiful space for us to heal and grow together and do it.
Yeah. Okay. So a bit about us. What are the values driving this podcast? You know, what are our cultural values that drive us to want to share on this podcast, but to share our talents with others through our businesses, through our life purpose?
Yeah. I guess for me, one of the big things that how I was raised is whāloalo and respect for our elders, and just that alone helped me navigate many spaces and many places. It's just being respectful to, and it wasn't even just to a person, it was respect to where you are, the whenua, that wherever you're walking, that you respect, you just have some sort of respect for your surroundings. And I think that really helped me, especially when I was doing Tomorrow People, just having that respect for the music, having the respect for the different spaces that I got to be a part of. And I guess one of the big things for myself when I finished was that I got a lot of aroha back from people random strangers, I guess, who I had met along the way, and they kind of had the same message for me when I left, was that they were really grateful to have met me, and that I took the time out to speak to them, and to engage with the fans and whatnot. And I guess it drives right back to having that respect and being raised in a respectful way. And church played a big part in my upbringing. And so those Samoan values of respect, of love, they really helped me to shape and mold me into the man that I guess that I'm today. Where that's what I want to give out back to our, we'll get into it one day, but the mahi that I do. But I love that the respect and aroha that I was raised in has helped me to be here today.
Yeah, I love that. Definitely respect, whāloalo. I would also say tika pono aroha. Integrity is a big one for me. It's a big thing for me. I know that being honest, being integral to who I am, what I believe in, is huge. The challenge, the takeaway from this, love, we've spoken a bit about our ego deaths and stuff. What is something you've had to work on to move from your own main character to I feel like you're still working on that.
I am, and I'm just going to be very, very honest about that. As I guess my upbringing was different to yours. I was the baby of my...
Yes.
So you're the oldest, and I'm the baby of my family. And my mum and my dad, they really whakapele me growing up. And when I mean whakapele, anything that I wanted, I got. And
just ridiculous.
So in some kind of way. I lived a privileged life because I didn't know what, to some degree, I didn't know what poverty was, because in my brain, in the world that was created for me, was if I wanted something, I asked my parents. And my parents were the hardest working parents. They, honestly, I don't know how they made it work, but they've somehow managed to find a way for me to get the things that I desired or that I wanted. And so I guess growing up, it's like a blessing and a curse at the same time. Like, I just got used to the expectation of, well, when I want something, I'm gonna get it.
And then he met me and no.
And you know what's funny that you say that? I think that's where, right then and there, that's where the clash started, was when we first met each other. But it made total sense. Like I said, I was used to having my way. And then when it came to you, I did not have my way. I was like, oh gosh. And then it made me delve into this whole, I started writing love notes and all those kinds of things.
He started pursuing me and realised he wasn't getting far. Jokes, love jokes.
But yeah, so totally different upbringings, me and you.
Yeah, the eldest, the youngest.
Baby.
But I've done a bit of research on that, and I feel like that combination works. I feel like the eldest and eldest, I feel that would be a big clash, because there'd be two like dominating people trying to. Yeah. Whereas I love that you're the youngest, because you're like, oh, babe, you just relax. Like, there's no need to be so serial. And he's right about the little things, you know. And I love that about you. And at the same time, you know, being the youngest also means I have to be like, get up. Nah, no, actually, lies. Kenape, actually, he's always up. It's me that's not up. It's, come on, from me to we. If there was one tip we would give and one question that we would ask our audience, so a tip that you would give a couple, especially the men, about partnership, what tip would you give?
I think it would be to, you know what, to, I guess, how we went through our little thing today about not taking things personal. I think that's really helped in our relationship and our partnership as well. Definitely. Is not taking things personal, because when you start making things about yourself, you're actually taking away from your partner's experience and and them just venting or just needing, like you said, the space to breathe or to speak. And I guess that's helped us a lot in our journey, because I think so many times, and I'm still working on it, but we as men, we tend to take things personal, and especially when we're doing a lot, you know, and not to take anything away from my love, but when we're doing a lot in terms of just things like the natural things that us men do, you know, like we like to be up early before our whānau. I love having a clean house. I'm always up cleaning the house and blah blah blah, getting my baby up, like all these things. Like I will just list down, and I love these things because naturally that's just what I want to do. I want to make sure my whānau's up, ready to go, bang bang bang, we're good to go. And so I guess when we take things personal, that's because we add on top of, I'm taking this personal, and at the same time I'm like, man, but I do all these things, my love. The words you're telling me, that I feel like you're attacking me. And I think just navigating that space where don't take nothing personal.
You've come a long way, Kenape.
I have. I used to take so many things personal on so many different levels. Just because I felt like,
just because he thought this whole world was about him.
But I think that's my advice that I will give to my brothers out there, is don't take whatever your partner says personally.
Hold the space. Provide that safe space.
Yeah, don't take things personal. Don't take things to heart. Just in those times and spaces where she just needs to be heard, just let it go past you. Let her speak, let her go. and then go like, okay. Just let it go past you, because it's not about you. It's just how she's feeling words, and it's just she needs to let that out and let that go. Yeah, and the less and less you take things personal, the less misa you have, the less fights you have, because you're not taking things personal. You just, for example, she's like bada, and then you breathe it in and you let it go, and then cool, and then you're still tone within yourself, you're still calm, collected, and you're like, yeah, all right, my love, let's go, kind of thing. So that's my advice.
Thank you, Kenape. And my advice that I would give to our wahine is, no, actually, a question that I would love to ask to everyone, not just the wahine, but how can you lean in deeper into your partner? So if you're feeling like your partner is not being a partner to you in certain ways, how can you lean in and show your partner what you're wanting? Because sometimes I've found when I need a certain way of being held by you, I need to show Kenape what that looks or feels like sometimes, or explain that if he's never experienced that before, rather than like just be upset that you're not meeting me where I need you to meet me.
Yeah.
But in order for me to do that, I needed to lean in more rather than push away, because I feel like that can be the normal reaction, is when you're not getting something that you want or that you need, you then push away. Like I would push away because I feel like I'm not being heard, felt, or seen. So what I've had to work on is leaning in deeper, and instead of being frustrated or pushing away, it's been more about actually explaining a bit more, taking a bit of a step back and being a bit more patient. And every time I've done that, Kenape's always been able to meet me, because he listens. He takes the time to listen and understand. Yeah. Well, I think that's enough. This is our first podcast. This is Navigating Worlds. We'll see you next Sunday. Is there anything you'd like to say?
See you then. Ka kite.
Ka kite.